Hey kids, it's your Uncle Bill. How you doing today? Awesome. I'm doing good too. And you know what? I got a story for you. You like stories? Great! I love stories. Today's story is called The Great Lion. And it's by me. You ready? Here we go. Once upon a time, there lived a family, and they had a mama, and a daddy, and a little boy, and a little girl. And they lived in space. They flew all over the galaxy, discovering planets and stars. Oh, they had such a good time. Now, Mama decided she wanted to have a baby. And she said to Daddy, I am not having a baby in space. And Daddy said, well, I've got an idea. We could put a house on a planet and live there. What do you think? And Mama said, that sounds good, but it has to be the right kind of planet and the right kind of house for our baby. And Daddy said, all right, let's go exploring. You guys like exploring? I love exploring. And this family liked exploring a lot. They did it the best. First, they went to a red planet, but it was too cold. Then, they went to a yellow planet, but it was too hot. Then, they went to a pink planet, but it was too stormy. Then they went to an orange planet, but it was too cloudy. Finally, they came to a nice blue and green planet with puffy white clouds floating overhead. Oh, it was gorgeous. They settled their spaceship down on a nice patch of grass, and they got out and looked. Oh, it was amazing. But they were there for a reason, and that reason was to find the best place to put a house so they could have their baby. So they got dressed up in their exploring clothes, and they put on their exploring hat, and they went out. First, they went to the forest, and it was beautiful with nice tall trees with lots of leaves overhead, and there were birds that flew, and chipmunks and squirrels, and little hedgehogs and deer. It was so nice. And Mama and the rest of the family walked along, and they said, this is really nice. But Mama said, you know, it's nice, but there's no space to put a house. The trees are all over the place. Let's keep looking. And Dad said, all right, let's go to the jungle. So next they went to the jungle where there were even taller trees than the forest and long, thick vines that hung all over the place. And they had to swashbuckle their way through the tall grasses, and there were lots of snakes and lizards. Oh, man, and it was hot, so hot. And Mama said, wow, we are not having a baby here. And Daddy said, all right, it is so hot here, let's go somewhere cold. The frozen north. So they all trekked up to the frozen north, and it was so cold there. It was icy and snowy, and the wind blew across the plains of the snow and ice, whatever that's called, the snowy iceness of it all. Oh, it was frigid. And there were narwhals and seals that roamed among the waters of the deep. And there were polar bears and white wolves and piercing cries of eagles that flew overhead. And Mama said, it's way too cold here. It's almost as cold as the Red Planet. We are not having a baby here. Mm-mm. And Daddy said, yeah, you're right, honey. Let's keep looking. So next, they went to the hills, where there were nice rolling hills covered in green grass, and there were lots of chipmunks and hedgehogs and prairie dogs and elk and bison that roamed around, and there were lots of lakes and rivers where fish, trout, and salmon swam, and lots of bullfrogs, and there were lots of birds too that ate those bullfrogs and fish. It was a great circle of life. Yum, yum, yum. And Mama said, well, this is nice, but it's got a lot of animals. I don't know if we can put a house here, and then we'll get, elk in the front yard and bison in the back. It's not really my favorite, but it's okay. Maybe we can make do. Let's keep looking. And Daddy said, all right, we'll keep looking. Let's go to the mountains. And they did. They got on their climbing gear and they climbed up those mountains. And they climbed down the mountains. Until they finally came to a nice dark cave. And they looked in. And they couldn't see a thing because it was so dark in there. And they said, hello. And they heard back, hello, hello, hello. And they looked at each other and they said, we're going in. And they did. And as soon as they stepped foot in that cave, a whole bunch of bats flew at them. And they took another step in. And they heard little skittering. They looked around, and they saw mice all over the floor. And they kept walking. And then, do you know what happened? They heard a sound. And they took another step. And they crept a little closer. And they crept a little closer. And do you know what they saw? A great lion! And they said, ah! And the lion raised up its head and he looked around. And he said, roar! And they ran. The lion ran after them. Boom, 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 boom. And they ran some more. Boom, 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 boom. And the lion ran so hard and so loud that little pebbles came from the top of the ceiling of the cave. And they fell on their heads. Boom, 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 boom. And they ran out of that cave as fast as they could, and the lion ran after them. Boom, boom, boom. And they jumped from the mouth of the cave. And they ran into the hills, and the lion just chased right on after them. Boom, 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 boom. Do you know how big that lion was? Well, let me tell you. If the little girl was this big, the lion was this big. And if the little girl was this long, the lion was this long. And if the little girl was this strong, the lion was this strong. That's kind of scary, isn't it? Well, this lion was kind of scary. And so they just ran all the way to the spaceship, and they got in their spaceship, and they flew away, and Mama said, we are not having a baby on that planet. The end. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great day.